Hello, good evening to you, and welcome to Loveworld USA News. I'm Joel Richard, and first a quick look at the top stories this evening. Judge throws out Comey and Letitia James indictment over DOJ appointment issue. President Trump's central DOJ office closes as agency waste-cutting teams continue work. President Trump kicks off Thanksgiving week with turkey pardon and Christmas tree arrival. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene denies presidential ambitions amid resignation from Congress. And the Pentagon opens review into Senator Mark Kelly after video on military orders draws scrutiny. And now to the news. A federal judge today has dismissed indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and former New York Attorney General Letitia James, ruling that the charges were invalid because the prosecutor who brought them was not legally serving as a U.S. attorney. Now, the said cases were being pursued after President Donald Trump's Justice Department charged James Comey with making false statements and charged James with bank-related offenses. Now, Judge Cameron Curry, a Clinton appointee brought in from outside Virginia due to conflicts within the district, ruled that Lindsay Halligan's appointment as interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was unlawful. Halligan, appointed by Attorney General Pam Bondi, had no prior prosecutorial experience but was the sole official who represented both high-profile cases to the grand jury. Curry wrote that Halligan had been unlawfully serving since September 22, 2025. The ruling dismisses the charges without prejudice, meaning the Justice Department could seek to refile them using a properly appointed U.S. attorney. Now, the DOJ has already attempted to ratify the indictments after the fact, a step the judge said would not have been necessary if Halligan's appointment were valid. Now, DOJ officials argued the dispute amounted to a technical error, while defense attorneys claimed Halligan had no authority to bring any charges at all. The cases are among the most prominent efforts by President Donald Trump's administration to hold political and legal opponents accountable, following years of controversy surrounding the FBI and New York's legal actions targeting conservatives. Comey has long denied wrongdoing and claimed that he was being targeted for political reasons, while Letitia James has faced criticism from Republicans for her aggressive pursuit of Trump-related investigations. Now, the Justice Department has not yet announced whether it will appeal the decision. Watch this.
Just the last few minutes, dismissing both these high-profile prosecutions against both James Comey and Letitia James. Both of these rulings, they're very similar. It's for the same reason, saying that a U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia who has brought both of these indictments, Lindsay Halligan, was unlawfully appointed. So this ruling at its core really has nothing to do with the actual merits of these criminal allegations against Comey and James, whether it be the lying to Congress allegations against James Comey or the mortgage fraud accusations against Letitia James. They deny that, of course, but instead this ruling is really saying that this U.S. attorney was never lawfully appointed in the first place, and so all of these actions, specifically when she went before those grand juries to seek those indictments, that all of that is invalid and that these charges all have to be dismissed.
In other news tonight, the Trump administration has confirmed that the central office of the Department of Government Efficiency has been shut down, even as individual DOJ teams embedded in federal agencies continue operating. White House spokeswoman Liz Houston said President Donald Trump remains committed to reducing waste, fraud, and abuse across the federal government, describing the ongoing effort as part of his mandates to cut overspending and mismanagement. The administration did not specify when the central hub closed or why it ended months before the July 4, 2026 date outlined in President Trump's original executive order. DOJ was created in January when President Trump signed an executive order renaming the Obama-era United States Digital Service as the United States DOJ Service and directing each agency to set up its own DOJ unit. Those agency-level teams, according to the White House, are still tasked with scrutinizing contracts, grants, regulatory programs, and workforce structures for potential savings. Office of Personnel Management Director Scott Kapoor, who was quoted as saying that doesn't exist, in reference to DOJ's central office, later clarified that while centralized leadership has ended, The core policies of deregulation and efficiency remain alive and well and are being institutionalized across government. Billionaire Elon Musk served for several months as the public face of Doge as a special government employee, promoting the effort as a way to strip away red tape and rein in federal spending. His role ended after a high-profile clash with President Trump over the Big Beautiful Bill, a sweeping spending and policy package that Musk criticized as a pork-filled measure, even as the president hailed it as key to his broader agenda on taxes, immigration, energy, defense, and debt. Democrats and federal employee groups have opposed Doge from the very start, staging protests and accusing the initiative of politicized purges and heavy-handed audits inside agencies. Now, despite the closure of the central office, Doge's website still claims more than $214 billion in savings from asset sales, contract cancellations and renegotiations, fraud and improper payment clawbacks, program changes, regulatory rollbacks, and workforce reductions. Figures the office says translate to more than $1,300 in savings per taxpayer. President Trump has repeatedly highlighted Doge in speeches as evidence of his push to slim down Washington, pointing to examples of grants and programs he characterizes as wasteful, and promising that the remaining Doge teams inside agencies will continue targeting government spending, even as the broader shutdown fight drags on. Let's have a look.
Elon Musk's Doge no longer exists. The Department of Government Efficiency was supposed to be in operation until at least July of next year, but Doge this morning is no more. That's the word from the government's chief human resources officer, telling NBC News that it'll be up to individual agencies to carry out Doge's cost-cutting mission, and that efficiency remains a core objective of the Trump administration.
More news on the president tonight. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump are continuing the White House's holiday traditions this week, beginning with the annual Thanksgiving turkey pardon. Scheduled for Tuesday afternoon in the Rose Garden, the ceremony will see 2 turkeys spared from the Thanksgiving dinner table following public voting for their names. This year's turkeys, chosen by viewers, reflect the White House's ongoing engagement with the public in the holiday festivities. In addition to the turkey pardon, the First Lady will welcome the official White House Christmas tree, marking the start of the holiday season at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The Fraser fir, which will be displayed in the Blue Room, comes from Corson's Tree Farms in Sidney Township, Michigan. The farm won the National Christmas Tree Association's National Tree Contest, which determines the tree supplier each year. A smaller tree from the same farm will also be placed in the Oval Office. The White House has a very long history of allowing public participation in naming and selecting the holiday symbols, fostering a festive atmosphere for Americans nationwide. Past year's turkeys have come from states including Minnesota, North Carolina, Indiana, Iowa, South Dakota, Ohio, California, Virginia, and Missouri. The event highlights President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump's commitment to maintaining lighthearted national traditions, even as the administration prepares for the holiday season. These said ceremonies combine public engagement with the festive decorations that usher in the White House Christmas celebrations. Watch this.
It's great to have everyone here. Welcome to the Willard Room here at the Intercontinental The Willards. It's an absolutely honor to welcome everyone here as we begin this beautiful American tradition, the arrival of National Thanksgiving turkeys. My name is Jaap Wallens, hotel manager, and I've had the privilege to welcome you all. It's my 4th year already, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So each year brings something new, and this year we're especially grateful and proud that we're the first pair to enjoy these beautiful turkeys in our newly restored guest rooms. Our special guest, Our special guest arrived yesterday with a red carpet welcome, and quickly settled.
Furthermore, tonight, interesting news for those on the partisan aisle. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Georgia Republican who announced her early resignation from Congress, has firmly rejected speculation about a 2028 White House bid. In a post on X, Greene said she is not running for president and described the idea as a complete lie, criticizing reports from Time magazine, no less, that claimed otherwise. Greene highlighted the demanding nature of a presidential campaign, noting the extensive travel, fundraising, and political maneuvering required, and emphasized that she is not motivated by power or titles. She also stated that the political industrial complex would prevent someone like her from effecting meaningful change at the national level. Her resignation follows a period of public criticism from President Donald Trump, who had been vocal on social media regarding Greene's actions. Greene's last day in office will be January 5th, 2026, ending her tenure in the House, which began in early 2021. Greene's statements make clear she has no intention of pursuing higher office, despite media speculation. She maintained that her focus remains on her principles rather than personal ambition, distancing herself from the broader political maneuvering often required for a presidential campaign. Let's take a look.
Video posted online last night, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says she will step down in early January with a nearly full year left on her term. A special election will take place within 40 days of her departure. This all follows the public fallout Greene's had with the president in recent weeks. In a social media post this morning, President Trump wrote, Greene is resigning because of, quote, plummeting poll numbers.
The news will be back after this break.
In a world that's always moving, staying connected to the right resources makes all the difference. Welcome to the Loveworld App Store, the digital home of everything that powers your journey in the Loveworld nation. Here, discovery is simple and meaningful. With our categories section, you can explore a wide range of apps designed to enrich your spirit.
I'm praying especially for you. You that have been sick, you need a miracle.
On the Loveworld App Store, you can access all your favorite apps, such as Healing School app, King's Chat, PCDL, Rhapsody app, Love Tunes, ESPYs, Loveworld Worship, Herald app, Alpha TV, King's View, C-Flix, Hello Loveworld, PCDL for kids, King's Conference, and so much more. Each application is created to serve a unique purpose and bring you closer to a life of impact. Explore My App feature, where your most valued tools are gathered in one convenient place. It's your personalized hub, ready whenever you are. The Loveworld App Store is more than a collection of apps. It's a vibrant ecosystem built to inspire faith, foster connection, and equip you for impact. Visit www.lwappstore.com to download the app on your device. Explore a world where purpose meets technology. Loveworld App Store. All your world in one place.
Welcome back. Our sources tell us that the Pentagon has launched a formal review into Democratic Senator Mark Kelly, following what officials described as serious allegations of misconduct tied to a video message directed at U.S. service members. The announcement comes after President Donald Trump accused Kelly and several other Democrats of engaging in seditious behavior by stating that troops could refuse unlawful orders. Defense officials cited provisions of the Uniform Code of Military Justice that allowed retired military officers, such as Kelly, to be recalled for potential disciplinary action. According to the Department of Defense, investigators were determining whether Kelly's remarks made while invoking his former Navy rank constituted conduct that undermines military discipline. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth emphasized that Kelly is the only individual in the video still subject to the UCMJ, with the remaining participants no longer under Defense Department jurisdiction. Officials indicated that the review may lead to administrative or judicial proceedings depending on the findings. The video released last week urged service members to reject unlawful orders, a message that sparked a series of strong reactions from President Donald Trump on social media. The president labeled the group traitors and argued that their actions threaten military cohesion, while stating that legal consequences could be severe. Kelly responded in a television interview, saying the president had crossed the line by implying extreme penalties and warning that such statements carry significant national weight. The investigation remains ongoing as federal and military authorities evaluate whether Kelly's comments violated statutes related to influencing troop behavior. Defense officials stressed that the process would follow established military law and that no further details would be released until the review concludes. Let's have a look.
The Pentagon is investigating Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona after he co-released a video urging service members and intelligence personnel to refuse illegal orders. The review cites federal laws prohibiting actions that could undermine loyalty, morale, or discipline in the military and may lead to court-martial or administrative actions. Kelly, a former Navy captain, said he learned of the investigation via social media, and he defended the video as a reaffirmation of the rule of law, not an attempt to defy lawful orders. The U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called the video, quote, despicable, and warned that Kelly's use of his rank gave his words the appearance of authority, which could discredit the armed forces.
On the economic front, Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller confirmed he recently met with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to review economic conditions amid heightened expectations that he is a leading contender to replace Jerome Powell when Powell's term expires in May 2026. Waller emphasized that the conversation focused strictly on economic issues and stated his interactions with the administration have not been political. Waller said he believes the Trump administration is seeking a Federal Reserve chair with strong expertise and forward-looking regulatory views, noting he fits the bill. Bessent has been interviewing candidates since Labor Day as President Donald Trump prepares to select new leadership for the central bank. Powell, originally appointed by President Donald Trump in 2017, has faced criticism from the president for not cutting interest rates more aggressively. Waller has consistently supported rate cuts, aligning with President Donald Trump's economic priorities as inflation cools and labor market indicators weaken. He cited slowing consumer spending and softer job gains as justification for further easing, adding that the Federal Reserve should look through temporary tariff-related price effects stemming from the administration's trade actions. President Donald Trump recently reiterated that he intends to appoint a new Fed chair and is also reviewing candidates who support pro-growth monetary policy. Waller remains one of the most experienced contenders under consideration and has emphasized the importance of maintaining the Federal Reserve's institutional independence while adjusting policy to support continued economic expansion. Furthermore, in business, Amazon Web Services announced a plan to invest as much as $50 billion starting in 2026 to expand advanced AI and high-performance computing infrastructure for U.S. government agencies. The company said the efforts will increase capacity across its top secret, and GovCloud regions, adding roughly 1.3 gigawatts of new data center capability. AWS leadership said the investment is designed to remove long-standing technology barriers inside federal agencies and also accelerate critical missions. The build-outs will provide access to U.S.-based secure cloud tools, including AI training systems, model and deployment platforms, and specialized chips from AWS and NVIDIA. Federal customers will also gain expanded capabilities for simulation, modeling, and rapid data analysis. Now, according to AWS, the new systems will allow agencies to process large-scale security, defense, and scientific data in real time, tasks that previously required weeks of manual work. The company said the initiative supports President Donald Trump's broader push to strengthen U.S. technological capacity and modernize national security infrastructure. AWS has provided cloud services to government entities for more than a decade, and was the first commercial provider accredited to handle unclassified, secret, and top-secret workloads. The new investment makes it largest commitment yet to federal AI and supercomputing operations and also aligns with the White House's ongoing advanced computing initiatives. Watch this.
$1 into northern Indiana to build an AI data center campus. Now, this will serve multiple customers, and a source tells me it's not directly tied to that new OpenAI contract. But what we do know is that the project adds 2.4 gigawatts of capacity, enough to power 1.8 million homes, and it comes on top of that $11 billion Anthropic campus already underway in the area. Since 2010, Amazon has invested more than $31 billion into the state. And a big piece of this is energy. Indiana is rapidly becoming an AI infrastructure hub thanks to an abundance of nuclear and coal power, plus generous local incentives, part of why you're seeing companies like GM and Samsung build plants just down the road from Amazon. For this new build-out, though, Amazon has struck an agreement with the local utility NIPSCO, where the company will finance new generation and transmission lines without raising rates for residents. And Scott, this is actually Amazon's second data center announcement of the day. The company also unveiled a $50 billion plan to build AI and supercomputing infrastructure for the U.S. government.
We'll be back with more news after this break.
It's easy to set up, quick to start and packed with value. Smarter streaming starts here with the Alpha TV Stick. Just plug and stream anytime, anywhere. Discover a curated lineup of content designed to inspire, live broadcasts and global events, inspirational films and series, children's programming, healing and teaching sessions, all on demand. With millions of downloads worldwide, the Alpha TV app is transforming lives across the globe. And now, we're on a mission to reach 1 billion downloads of the Alpha TV app, and you can be part of it. Join the global wave with 1 billion Alpha TV app downloads worldwide. Bring the higher life into every home. Order your Alpha TV Stick today and experience smarter streaming. Alpha, the higher life is here.
Some stirring news on the international front. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that no peace deal can involve handing over Ukrainian territory, even as U.S.-Ukraine negotiations in Geneva produced what both sides called important steps. The talks, led by U.S. officials under President Donald Trump, sought to narrow gaps over security guarantees in Russian-occupied regions, but the central dispute of the day remains Moscow's demand for Kiev to legally surrender parts of eastern Ukraine. Zelensky said such concessions would reward Russian aggression and create a dangerous precedent. The discussions come after the United States unveiled a 28-point draft peace plan developed with Russian negotiators in October, which included provisions heavily favorable to Moscow. The plan proposed that Ukrainian forces would draw from currently held areas of Donetsk, converting them into a demilitarized zone recognized as Russian territory. The proposal also raised alarm in Kiev and across Europe, prompting urgent diplomatic efforts and a counteroffer from major European governments rejecting any territorial recognition for Russia. President Donald Trump has signaled cautious optimism, saying something good just may be happening, while emphasizing that no agreement is final. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio described the Geneva talks as making tremendous progress. However, European leaders remain split, with Poland and Germany expressing skepticism that a breakthrough is imminent. Russia did not attend the said discussions, with Kremlin officials dismissing Europe's counterproposal as unconstructive. Expectations are now focused on an upcoming direct conversation between Zelensky and President Donald Trump, which could determine whether a revised plan is presented to Moscow. Ukraine continues to insist on maintaining its territorial integrity and its constitutional commitment to pursuing NATO membership, while Russia still demands Kiev abandon both. As Western nations scramble to coordinate their responses, it remains unclear just how soon a viable framework for peace might emerge. Let's have a look.
The conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues to shape the geopolitical landscape of Europe. The pressure on Ukraine intensifies, and President Volodymyr Zelensky stands at a critical crossroads. On Friday, Zelensky made a forceful statement rejecting a proposal from the United States aimed at ending the war, signaling that his country's sovereignty and dignity would not be compromised. In a video message to the nation, Zelensky stressed that no matter the external pressure, he would never betray Ukraine's national interests. "I will never betray you," Zelensky declared, emphasizing that Ukraine's decision would not be swayed by mere diplomatic pressure. He added, "We must consider the national interest of Ukraine. We do not make grand pronouncements. We will work calmly with the United States and all our partners." His words reflected his commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty, regardless of the external forces bearing down on him.
A long-dormant volcano in Ethiopia's Afar region erupted for the first time in recorded history, sending massive plumes of ash and sulfur dioxide across East Africa and the Red Sea. The Haile Gubi volcano, dormant for at least 12,000 years, according to geologic evidence, began erupting early Sunday morning, surprising scientists and prompting international aviation alerts. Satellite imagery showed a towering ash cloud drifting westward, reaching heights of up to 49,000 feet. Aviation authorities from Africa to India braced for potential flight disruptions as the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center in Toulouse issued emergency bulletins to aircraft in the region. Now, despite the intensity of the ash plume, local officials reported no casualties as of now. Officials in Ethiopia say the eruption has blanketed nearby pastoral communities in ash, threatening livestock grazing areas and raising concerns about long-term economic impacts for herder villages. Images released by the Afar regional government show dense ash billowing from the volcano's summit, with residents observing from a distance. Haile Gubi, a 1,700-foot-tall shield volcano with a wide, symmetrical crater, sits near the border with Eritrea, along the tectonically active Erta Ale volcanic range in the Danakil Depression. The Smithsonian Institution had previously listed the timing of its last eruption as unknown, but new research suggests its previous activity dates back more than 12,000 years. Very long time indeed, underscoring the significance of this rare geologic event. Watch this.
Ethiopia's Haile Gubi volcano erupted for the first time in about 12,000 years, blasting volcanic ash and sulfur dioxide some 10 to 15 kilometers into the atmosphere. The eruption caused moderate tremors in areas around Erta Ale and Aforeda town. The volcano is located about 15 kilometers southeast of the active Erta Ale volcano. Volcano's explosive awakening has sent ashes drifting east by steady winds, crossing the Red Sea and reaching parts of Yemen, Oman, and now heading towards India. Aviation authorities are closely monitoring the plume as it threatens to disrupt flights over northern India, including Delhi and Jaipur. Airlines and air traffic controllers are on high alert, prioritizing passenger safety while tracking the ash cloud's precise movement. India's Civil Aviation Authority has issued an advisory asking airlines to completely avoid flying at affected altitudes and areas. But while the travel industry watches the skies, geologists are looking underground. Volcanoes erupt because heat from the Earth's interior melts rock into magma. Over thousands of years, this molten rock accumulates in chambers beneath the surface. Pressure builds, gas expands, and when the crust cracks or weakens, the magma rises, sometimes gently, sometimes explosively.
And so in the news today, a quick recap of the top headlines. Judd throws out Comey, Letitia James indictments over DOJ appointment issue. President Trump's central DOJ office closes as agency waste-cutting teams continue work. President Trump kicks off Thanksgiving week with turkey pardon and Christmas tree arrival. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene denies presidential ambitions amid resignation from Congress. And the Pentagon opens review into Senator Mark Kelly after video on military orders draws scrutiny. And that's all the news we have for you tonight. Join us at the same time tomorrow for more news. I'm Joel Richards, signing off. God bless you, God bless our armed forces, and God bless these United States of America.